heard they're metering the wells up in Stallion Springs there, up there. Are they? Yeah.
At the end of this term that I'm serving right now, I'll have 19 years on the board. Oh, wow.
So you can retire with retirement, huh?
No, there ain't no retirement.
I know that. So next one be next Wednesday?
Special meeting?
Yeah. What time is it?
3.
Yes, there are a lot of good people in the community who put their time on this board.
Because the guy is finished the wrong stuff.
For Wednesday, May 26, 2021. Can I have a roll call, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Mark Glennan,
Here.
Dr. Beth Stewart,
Here. Here.
Dr. Alfred Wallace,
Here.
Dr. Greg Wayne,
Here.
General Manager Steve Perez,
Here.
Assistant and Board Secretary Rebecca President, Director of Public Works John Houghton, Public Works Manager Brock Smith, Legal Counsel John Comer,
I'm here. Will the record show that the 5 directors are present? Let's continue down to the Pledge of Allegiance. Steve, would you lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance, please, sir?
I'd be proud to. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve. Now let's move on. May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So move, Byron.
Second.
And we have a motion by Vice President Glennan, a second by Director Wallace. Have a roll call vote, please.
It was.
I'm sorry, those words. Okay, correction. I have a motion by Vice President Glennan and a second by Director Wood. May I have a roll call vote for that, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Mark Glennan,
Yes.
Director Beth Stewart,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wayne.
Yes.
Will the records reflect a 5-0 vote for the approval of the agenda? At this time, public comments. At this time, any person may address the board on any subject within the district's jurisdiction which is not on the agenda. However, any non-agenda matter will be referred to staff for report and/or action at a subsequent board meeting, and no action may be taken on any such item discussed unless action has been authorized in section 54954.2 Board of the Government Code. Any person may also address the board on any subject, on any agenda matter at the time the matter is discussed prior to board consideration and action. Speakers are requested to limit their comments to 5 minutes. At this time, we'll open the floor to the community comments. So anyone from the community that would like to address the board on the matter?
I would like to speak as a public citizen.
Go ahead, Director Glennan.
Read some words of wisdom from my father again. The American way of life for the individual citizen has been accomplished without great fortitude, determination, and even supreme sacrifice for many. America has literally hammered, clawed, chopped, dug, and scratched out of the wilderness by men who believed that sovereignty was invested in the individual. Those early Americans asked nothing except to be free of the shackles of government domination and to live as sovereign individuals. Thank you.
Thank Thank you, Director Glennan. Those are timely words. Those are very timely words. Thank you, sir. At the time, this is the time for the voluntary public call-in. We have the teleconference. Any member of the public in the teleconference who wishes to identify themselves as present for this meeting, please do so for the minutes of the record. And if there's anyone from the public,
Your line is now muted. Your line is now unmuted.
Rosamond News is here. President Webb.
okay, good evening.
John
Good evening,
Joyce.
Mr. Joyce, sir. Good
Yeah.
evening.
Good evening.
Is there anyone else from the community that would like to be recognized? Let the record show that John Joyce of the Rosamond News, during the voluntary public roll call, came forward. There's no one else. It's 5. Is there anyone else from the community that would like to be recognized? Okay, well, the record show that at 5:37, we closed the voluntary public roll call section. Let's go down to closed session. May I have a motion to go into closed session?
I'll move, Byron.
Second, Greg.
Okay, so I have a motion by Vice President Glennan, a second by Director Wood to go into closed session. May I have a roll call vote, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Brian Miller.
Yes.
Byron Glennan. Director Ben Stewart.
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace.
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Okay, well, the record show that a 5-0 vote to go into closed session. Can any directors remember to log off and call back on the other number? See you guys. I'm here. Okay. Steve, now the other 3 board members are present.
Everybody's present.
Okay. May I get a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved. Second.
Okay, who was the motion by?
Greg.
Motion made by Director Wood, seconded by Director Wallace.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Wood and a second by Director Wallace to come out of closed session. Can I have a roll call vote?
President Rick Webb.
Yes.
Vice President Brian Glennan.
Yes.
Director Ben Stewart.
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace.
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Will the record show that we came out of closed session at 6:13 p.m. by a vote of 5-0 from the directors? There's no reportable action from the closed session. And let's go on now. It's 6:13 p.m. and we will start the open session of our general meeting. Read the public comment section. It's at this time any person may address the board on any subject within the district's jurisdiction which is not on the agenda. However, any non-agenda matter will be referred to staff for report and/or action at a subsequent board meeting, and no action can be taken on any such item discussed unless the action has been authorized under Section 54954.2 of the Government Code. Any person may also address the board on any agenda matter at the time the matter is discussed prior to the board's consideration and action. Speakers are requested to limit their comments to 5 minutes. At this time, I'll open the floor up to public comments if there are any. Let the record show that we opened up public comments at 6:14 p.m. If there's no public comments, we'll be closing them. and we'll go on to voluntary public roll call. If any member of the public on a teleconference wishes to identify themselves as present for this meeting, please do so for the record and the minutes. At this time, the voluntary public roll call is open.
John Joyce, reporting for the Rosamond News, is still here.
Good evening, John.
Good evening.
Let the record show that the voluntary public roll call is open at 6:14. John Joyce, Rosamond News, with the member from that came forward. This time, we'll move to the minutes. And could I get a motion from a director to approve minutes M1, M2, and M3?
So moved, Byron.
Second, Greg.
So we have a motion by Vice President Glennan, a second by Director Wood. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Mark Glennan,
Yes.
Director Ben Stewart,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Will the record show that for the minutes of M1, M2, and M3, of the 5-0 vote by the directors to accept? We'll move down to consent calendar. We have CC1 and CC2. May I get a motion to accept those?
So moved, Byron.
Second,
I
Greg.
have a motion. I have a motion by Vice President Glenn and a second by Director Wood. May I have a roll call vote, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Mark Glennan,
Yes.
Director Ben Stewart,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
With the records reflect on the consent calendar, see items 1 and 2, the 5-0 director vote approval. Let's move on to new business. And M1, the levy and collection of assessments for the landscape and lighting assessment district number 2. Steve, as our presenter there, you're going to be presenting this.
Darrylanne Zarate with NBS is going to do the presentation.
Okay, is she ready? If you're ready, go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay. Hi, good evening. My name is Darrylanne Zarate, and as Steve mentioned, I'm the consultant with NBS. Tonight, there are 2 items that we're recommending that the board adopt. The first one is Resolution 2020-20, which is the initiating proceedings for the levy and collection of the assessments for the landscape and lighting assessment district number 2 for fiscal year 2021. The resolution of initiation sets the assessment procedure and actions for 2020 or 21-22 tax roll. This will preliminarily approve the engineer's report, and it also with the resolution of intention. So the second resolution, it will approve the engineer's report, and it will set the time and place for the public hearing. The public hearing will be set for a later date. So tonight, we are just recommending approval of the initiation of the proceedings and also the declaring the intention to levy. And these items are for the LLAD number 2 district. This is the Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972 district. As you may all know, this is LLPD2 has the 51 zones, and it involves approximately 3,000 parcels. The revenue from these assessments are utilized for operation and maintenance of street lighting improvements. So it's important that we get these items approved tonight so that we can move forward with the public hearing that's coming up.
Didn't they change all that from those LED? How does that affect that? The rate? Too early. Yeah. Too early to tell.
Question for you. So I'll have an understanding. The resolutions are to just start in place the timeline so we can go towards the public hearing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any
So
other direct?
What was that, sir?
No, go ahead. You have before. You started your thought. Go ahead and finish your thought. Sorry.
So these two resolutions are required per the statute for the 1972 Act, which these districts were formed. So basically, annually, these two resolutions are passed prior to the public hearing. So it's just formality at this point. And in order to go for the public hearing, we do have to get these two items approved tonight.
Is there any director that has a question of the consultant regarding the Resolution 1 or Resolution 2 regarding the landscape and lighting assessments? Okay, hearing no additional questions, may I get a motion from a director? We're going to take them one at a time. May I get a motion to adopt resolution number 2020-20, initiating proceedings for levy and collection of assessments for landscape and lighting accessory district number 2 for fiscal year 21-22. May I get a motion on that one?
So moved, Byron. I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Glennan, a second by Director Wallis. Have a roll call vote for this, please.
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Mark Glennan,
Yes.
Dr. Beth Stewart,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Will the records reflect that for Resolution 2020-20, it was a 5-0 director's approval. Let's go down to new business B. Let's adopt a resolution number 20201, declaring an intent to levy and collect assessments for the landscape and lighting assessment district number 2 for fiscal year 2021-22. Can I get a motion from a director?
So moved, Byron. I'll second it.
Okay, who gave me the second? Okay, so we have a motion by Vice President Glennan and a second by Director Wallace. May I have a roll call vote, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Mark Glennan,
Yes.
Director Beth Stewart,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Excuse me. Will the record show that a resolution number 20201 declaring its intent to levy and collect was a 5-0 approval by the directors? Let's go into presentation. And it's the water reclamation plan update, and Brock Smith is our presenter. Brock, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Since the last board meeting, the contractor completed the final section of airline piping, set the meter and valve vaults to final grade, and welded adapter plates to the utility pump housing. The contractor also removed the 2-inch thick layer of grout from the base of the clarifier after deficiencies were found in the original core. The pipeline contractor completed testing and final connections on 7 different pipelines throughout the plant, and the electrician continues to pull and terminate wires. And that concludes my report for the wastewater treatment plant.
Thank you, Brock. Is any director that has any questions regarding the progress of the plant out there?
Can you give the timeline again, Brock, for the startup?
So there have been a few delays. The most recent delay would be the deficiencies found in the clarifier number 2 core. We're not sure the time it's going to take to complete that repair, but we're probably looking towards early July at this point for startup.
And then startup will be, how long will startup be again before you actually seed the plant? I know you got to do some testing with fresh water for a while.
We have 2 weeks of freshwater testing, and then we have 3 months for seeding and acclimation scheduled.
Okay.
So at this point, we're hoping to start producing the secondary water in September.
Are we going to percolate the freshwater testing, and or is that just going to be discharged somewhere on the plant?
Yeah, that will actually be circled back around. So we put in a secondary effluent recirculation line that goes from just after the secondary clarifiers out to the emergency overflow ponds, and then that allows the water to gravity feed back to the headworks of the plant. that same line can be used in the event of a plant upset to prevent us from discharging water that's outside of our permitted limit.
Could you let us know? I mean, I would love to be there when you guys pull the stop logs to let the flow go through the plant during startup. I would really like to be there and watch the water hit these the new clarifier and everything else for the first time.
So we'll definitely keep the board informed on that, because it's not isolated with stop logs like a larger plant. It's isolated with valves. So those will be filled with fresh water when the influent first hits it. But we'll definitely keep the board informed when that timeline is.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other?
I might add, in regard to the recirculation of that water back into the plant that Brock had mentioned, that was one of the additions that we added that was not part of the original plan. And by being able to recycle that water into the plant, we wouldn't have to have it go to another pond if we had a long period of time.
Right.
So that also was responsible for a little bit more in cost, but it was the right thing to do to save us from any other types of regulatory violations.
That'd be great.
Any other director? Any other questions? Brock, thank you very much for keeping us heads up on this here and keeping us informed about the timeline. Just greatly appreciated, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to director reports, and let's start with Director Stewart. Do you have something for us, sir?
Yeah, if I can get my phone off to mute. No, you guys, not really. I'm just looking forward to getting back to normal, being back in there. My plan is to return to a normal board meeting starting June 15th once everything opens up. So the following board meeting after that, I'm going to try to be in there as much as possible. So, thank you guys.
Thank you, Ben. Let's go with Director Wallis. Director Wallis, you have the floor.
No, don't have anything.
Okay, Director Wood, you have the floor, sir.
No report tonight.
Okay, Director Glennan.
Yes, the graduation is right around the corner, and hopefully they don't have a windy day. Pay for it. They're limited on the number of people that take it. I heard 2 to each family. Yeah, they're limited on the number of people who can come and be there in person. But our seniors are going to graduate, even though they've almost missed a year of education.
Finally.
They ought to get the access to film it and put it on a live feed so a lot of people at home can watch their loved ones graduate.
Well, I'm glad that they're having in-person and getting somewhat back to normal. Last year, my granddaughter graduated from junior high, and we got to watch a video of her getting her diploma as she pulled up in the car, and they rolled the window down and handed it to her, and then she just kept on driving through the procession. So the fact that even though they 2 tickets per family, hey, you know what? It's better than it was last year. And we're slowly getting back to normal.
I heard they're going to put a lot less emphasis on the 8th grade graduation. They're going to tailor that down, cut it down.
Well, what I'd like to say, first of all, and this is to Lizette, Steve, Brock, John, and all you folks, thank you guys so much for taking care of the Rosamond community and basically from a water and our sewer needs. I know there were some challenging times with all the dynamics. It seems like we're getting close to being kind of, as Director Stewart said, back to normal, whatever normal is for us. So I sincerely appreciate the efforts. And I look forward to the community coming back. And I would have the community stay in touch either through the website or contact the district to find out when we will have the boardroom open up. The GM is working on a timeline to try to bring this all together, but there's nothing firmed up in concrete yet. So I'll continue to be patient with this, but we're getting closer than we were before. So I want to tell all you guys, thank you guys very much for the team effort. So with that, I'll move on to the legal counsel. You have anything for us, Sheriff?
Nothing to report.
General Manager?
Well, you're right. As far as the reopening, we have a plan. A lot of the plan is going to be determined as to exactly what the governor does. And when we find that out, we'll have more of a concrete direction to go. We have an idea of what he's going to do, but we're not real sure because there's several executive orders that he put out also that we have to see what he's going to do with those. And but I think everybody is looking forward to wanting to come back to normalcy, and so are we. But one interesting thing that I did, and I wanted to report on for two reasons. Number one, the new plant that's coming online is going to have an electric load. Some of the cost of that is going to be fairly significant because the cost of electricity is going sky high. And but what we have done to try to mitigate that cost, and here's one of the things that I wanted to make a point of to the community that wanted to find out what are we doing to cut costs. Well, we have done a lot to cut our electric load in the district. If we had not, it would be significantly higher. We've installed a lot of solar so far. We've transformed most of our interior, or all of our interior lighting and exterior area lighting to LED lighting to drive down the cost. And in addition to that, we're looking at a 1.2 megawatt solar farm to probably go online or real close to when we finally fire up the plant for full operation. And hopefully that'll mitigate our load. One of the interesting things is in the last go-round when we did solar, our price per kilowatt hour was 8 cents and 9 cents and 12 cents in various locations, different locations at different costs. I've negotiated with our solar provider a 6 cents kilowatt hour price. Right now, I had entertained solar for our house, and I looked at my bill a little bit closer, and I haven't done that in quite some time. And I noticed that a year ago, we were paying 19 cents for Tier 1. Now we're paying 23 cents for Tier 1, 34 cents for Tier 2, and 44 cents for Tier 3. If we would have been on we're grandfathered into these tiers, we're kind of lucky for that fact, but the time of use folks are probably going to have a higher cost in their electric bills. And what it means is the cost of electricity through Edison is skyrocketing as far as I'm concerned. Several years back when we put in the solar to mitigate our load before, I thought we were doing a pretty good job at saving quite a bit of money. Otherwise, it would have been a lot higher. And to find out today that we're paying these exorbitant prices for electricity is just mind-boggling. So we elected to get solar on our house, and that's what we're going to do.
I got it. Makes a big difference. and everything's on, you're on demand system, right?
Here,
Yeah,
I believe we're time of use.
I think it's demand too.
Yeah.
I think all the homes are going to time of use too.
Yeah.
And solar, our electric, we don't have any electric bill anymore.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference. Well, that solar plant, will it handle everything? Or?
It's designed to carry the entire load of the plant.
That's great.
Yeah.
Save a lot of money.
So that's the end of my report, and that's just one tidbit of where some of our cost is going also, and what we're doing to try to mitigate those costs. I'll try to bring a report with other cost mitigation that we're doing to try to keep the cost of doing business down. And some of them, we're doing a good job at doing that, but there is some that are brand new, and we take one step forward, and like at your home budget, and 3 steps back. And it's just running the business of running this agency is no different than the impacts that are hitting each and every one of us at our homes.
When they're going to start on the solar?
That I'm not real sure. Hopefully around the 1st of July-ish, and it won't take them long to put up the array.
Does Edison hook it up right away, or?
Oh yeah, they tie in. Getting through all of the Edison hoops is the big thing.
Yeah, well, I have a friend who works at Cal Portland. They put them giant windmills up there. He said Edison wouldn't hook them up for a long time. They don't like it.
Oh heck no, it cuts on their profit.
They don't like it.
But they're mandated by law to do it.
And, you know, they've had court battles. They had that one in Nevada where they wasn't going to give them any money for the ones they generated. Then people got to put a petition on the ballot and overturned it. And then Arizona is going to charge them $40 a month, and Solar One went to court, and they beat it.
Well, they're going to charge Edison. I understand that sometime in the fall, there's a deadline that if you don't get in before the deadline, that they're going to do something like that. Edison's going to start charging a standby charge when you do that. So that's going to cost you about another $40 a month for standby electricity.
They say they're the highest utility company in America.
And that's all I have.
Well, Steve, I will say that from day one, that's one of the resources and insights you brought into the district to look at, solar, and you've always been trying to be ahead of the curve, not behind or beside the curve on that one. So I appreciate that. We're going to move on down to the assistant GM. Lizette, what do you have for us?
Good evening. Yes, so several weeks ago we had a number of customers within our CSD that were posting on social media concerns regarding our water. They had specifically received a letter from the high school regarding high arsenic levels. And what we're doing is this newsletter is we're addressing that concern. Many Rosamond residents were recently concerned when they received a notice warning that arsenic levels in the water were above the standards set by the California Water Resources Control Board. These notices were sent out by the Rosamond High School water system and only apply to their water, which is entirely separate from their RCSD water system. Arsenic is a naturally occurring mineral commonly found in groundwater in the southwest United States. The California State Water Resources Board and the United States Environmental Protection Agency share a standard of 10 parts per billion, or 0.01 milligrams of arsenic per liter of water. While it is true that the amount of arsenic in the high school system's water is higher than the state and national standards, it is safe for drinking in the short term. Long-term exposure could pose certain health risks, like increased cancer risk. For this reason, Rosamond High School is investigating a way to bring the arsenic levels down. One of the most promising solutions is having the Rosamond High School system physically consolidated onto the Rcsd system. This would allow the water from the well to be mixed with other water until the arsenic levels are diluted down below the state standard. Rcsd is working with the State Water Board Drinking Water Division and Rosamond High School to implement a solution. We will keep you updated on the situation and our involvement in this resolution. We want to make sure that the community knows that our water is safe for drinking, and this notice will go out to all of our customers and hopefully give everybody a peace of mind.
Lizette, could you state for the public that the high school is on their own well? They're not hooked into our system. And also for the record, could you state what our arsenic levels are in our water to show that our water is well below the 10 parts per billion?
So the notice does specify that the high school is on their own water well, and therefore that's why they have the issue. We want to make sure that we notify them of that, and I'll defer on what our levels on arsenic is to see, because I'm not sure.
It's below the MCL pretty significantly.
So, I just wanted for the public to understand that our water has been and always has been safe to drink. And with regards to arsenic, we have never, community, we've always been in compliance below the federal and state levels of 10 parts per billion. And so, I just want to emphasize very strongly, our water quality is safe and it's good quality water. And that you are right that one of the mitigating factors with the school district, if they blend our water with their well water, it will bring their arsenic levels down.
Well, I might interject that we're currently working on a consolidation that is about ready to take off any time. We're consolidating several small water companies and the high school also into the RCSD's family of users. And what will happen is the high school will then potentially use their well to do their ag watering, which will be their football fields or green belts, whatever they may have, and utilize the RCSD water that is a good quality water for their drinking water purposes. And that's all part of a major state program that's being funded through the state. And the Water Quality Control Board and the Drinking Water Division. So we have the high school, a couple of trailer parks. We have, we're working on the Land of Promise currently. So there's several water companies that have high arsenic levels, and we're consolidating them into ours to provide them safe drinking water.
Thank you, Lizette.
Brock, could you tell us what our levels run in our well 9?
So the arsenic levels for Rosamond Community Services District are posted as part of our Consumer Confidence Report. That document is available on the website. In 2019, that's the document, the most recent posted document, our annual average for all of our water sources combined was 9.2 parts per billion. These reports are due by July 1st of every year. That's why I'm referencing the 2019 report, because the state district staff some time to collect and publish this data. But that level stays pretty consistent. We range between an average of 8 and 9 parts per billion as an average of all of our water sources across all of our annual samples for arsenic. So that, as well as every other inorganic, chemical, and disinfection byproduct, is listed as part of that consumer confidence report on our website.
Steve, to answer the question directly, I believe well 9 at the last sample was running at a 7.
That's great.
I also wanted to inform you that we will be working with the Access on sending out a lead copper notice to about 2,200 of our customers in order to comply with the Environmental Protection Agency's lead and copper regulations. We will once again be conducting our triennial monitoring program of tap water in our service area. The specific purpose of this program is to determine whether there is any evidence of lead or copper in tap water in our community. The district's sources of water and our distribution system do not have any detectable concentrations of these materials, but it is possible that they can be dissolved in water as it flows through household plumbing. The water we distribute to our customers' homes is safe, and we want to be certain that the water is safe, and this is why we do this voluntary testing. Again, if you happen to receive an email notification from the district, it's because we're just randomly selecting customers that are willing to volunteer, and they have to notify our office by June 15th to indicate their interest. And the last item I have, household bulky and hazardous waste drop-off event. The next event is scheduled for June 5th here in Rosamond. They are not accepting hazardous waste, contractor waste, or tires. And then the next event will be in Tehachapi, also on June 5th. And they're asking to please ensure that any containers that they do bring are labeled, and that they ensure that they are not leaking, and they're only able to transport 50 gallons or 125 pounds of waste per trip.
What was the next one here?
June 5th.
June 5th, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Location?
1731 Sierra Highway. I believe that's waste management. Rosamond location.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Lizette. As far as the water goes, I think we can all argue that we have some of the best water in the region, and that's not without a team effort, so thank you guys. Let's move on to Public Works. John or Brock, you guys have the floor.
I just wanted to let you know and the public know that our front parking lot in our admin building will be closed tomorrow for parking lot resurfacing. So district staff will still be available and working, but there will be no access to the front parking lot or the RV dump station tomorrow for recode.
Brock, and that'll just be for the 1 day, correct?
Yeah, just for 1 day. Decoding will take place tomorrow. They'll have a separate crew to drive. We'll be able to drive through the parking lot while they're restricting.
All right, perfect. Okay. Any questions for Brock from the directors? Okay, can I get a motion for adjournment?
Don't move, Byron.
We have a motion by Vice President Glennan, and that's a second by Director Wallace. Can I get a roll call vote?
President Rickland?
Yes.
Vice President Glennan?
Yes.
Director Ben Stewart?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
Director Greg White?
Yes.
With the record reflect, we have a 5-0 vote to adjourn the meeting at 8:48 p.m. Good night, everyone.
You must be on 6.